Mubin? Hallo Mubin? Wat dan iets? Hi guys, can you hear me? Jan?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, Jan, we can hear you now. Jan, you can fire away.
Thank you. Thank you, Jacques. Thank you, Eben. Jacques, I think the obvious thing is if you can just run us through the changes. We know on wing there's obviously an injury, the decision at scrum off, and then obviously the bench going 5-3 split this time.
Yeah, no, yeah, obviously the changes, if I take it from fullback or from 15, is obviously Warwick is in for Jesse. We got concussed when we played New Zealand, and then Faf is back after his concussion, and his return to play has finished. So we're bringing him in, and then yeah, we went with a 5-3 split, and again, the reason for that is yeah, we feel tactically that's what we'll need when if we play against Australia, and yeah, that's pretty much the changes. Did I leave somebody out?
No, that's fine. If I may follow up, Jacques, and last one from me is obviously there was big disappointment after the All Black loss at Ellis Park. Have you guys worked through that, and what do you expect from the Wallabies this time around?
No, yes, yeah. Now, obviously, we were disappointed with the loss. We're always disappointed with the loss, and we had such a great opportunity. You know, I don't think a lot of teams in the history had the opportunity to go back to back against the All Blacks, and I guess we put us for us the positive out of that game is we got ourselves in a hole in the first half, being 15-0 down, but we clawed our way back, and I think it was about 72 or 73 minutes on the clock where we were leading the game with them having going down to 14 men. You know, so I think the disappointing part is we probably could have closed that game out better. You know, and there I'm not pointing any fingers at the players. You know, it's us as a group that probably could have handled that a little bit better. And a group, there was some naive decisions by us as coaches, and so we obviously had a hard look in terms of that. And we'll keep building on that. And yeah, in terms of Australia, yeah, I think they're pretty much in the same boat as us. They would like to come back from their loss against Argentina, just like we would like to come back and get a positive turnaround after our loss against New Zealand. So I think that's what we expect from them, pretty much what I think they'll expect from us.
Mubin? Mubin, I think there's a problem with your mic, so we'll go to Kanyuso.
Thank you very much, Zina. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jacques. A short twofold question. Why the team announcement on the Monday? And just talk us through how you intend on using Damien and Warwick as a 14-15 combination.
Yeah, no, yeah, the team announcement, yeah, I guess it would be weird in terms of we announcing it this early, but if you think about it, we were supposed to travel on Thursday, and then actually the plane got a little bit delayed, so we traveled on Friday. And yeah, we got here on. We actually got an extra day, and the whole squad is here. And we announced this, the team to the players already on, when was it, on Sunday? On Sunday, or yeah, Sunday. So for us, listen, and we know when we announce it to the players, it's probably going to come out within a day or two, you know. And even when people go to the training sessions, they probably get a pretty good idea of who's gonna start and who's not gonna start. So for us, I mean, there's no reason for us to keep it back. The players know. We know, and like I said, we actually, when with us traveling here a little bit earlier, we actually started our preparation a day earlier. So, and that's the reason. The moment we have clarity of the team, the players know the team, and they for us, we feel there's no reason to keep the team back. I mean, it's probably going to come out in any way.
Christy?
Sorry, it's a small two-part question. The intention of Warwick at 14 and how you're going to use them with a Damien at 15.
Yeah, I think it's a nice opportunity for Warwick, you know, and he's been part of us for quite some time. He's played for us wing before in the World Cup. I think against Canada, he played wing for us. And he knows our system as a 15 and as a 14. And obviously, we would have loved to give him an opportunity at 15, but yes, with the bad luck we had at 14. Or right wing this season. If you think about, yes, we lost Cheslin, Sabu is still injured, Kirtley got a red card. Then we opted to go with JC. He got concussed. So I mean, we can't. I think it's impossible to plan for so many injuries in one position. You know, I think it's our not our fifth choice, but I mean, it's the fifth level deep that we play our Warwick. You know, so but excited to have him there again. And playing for us at 14, and obviously had a good URC. He and Gaza knows each other well. I think Gaza or Damien Willems has really excelled at 15 this year for us, and he's really taken his opportunity, and he's almost trying to make that position his own, you know. So he's performing well, and like I said, it would have been awesome to give Warwick an opportunity at 15, but he gets his opportunity now because of where we are at right wing. In terms of all the players that we've lost there, that he's going to get an opportunity there. And for us, from a tactical point of view, there's not a big difference between 15 and 14, in our opinion. You know, so if you look at Kirtley as well, Kirtley plays 15 for the Bulls, but he played 14 for us, and I thought he had an excellent performance there in the 2 tests that he played. So yeah, pretty much looking forward to the chemistry between Damien and Warwick. They've been playing there for a while together.
Christy?
Hi, Jack. Welcome to Australia. Just following up on the team announcement stuff. Do you mind? Do you think that there is an advantage for an opposition to discover the team so early?
Yes, like I said, for us, I don't know. I think that's probably something you'll have to ask our opposition. But for us, I feel we've got a pretty good idea of who's going to play against us, or the team that will get selected on Saturday from Australia. I mean, you probably wonder about 1 or 2 positions, maybe, you know. So I think in terms of that, coaches normally have, or we normally have a good idea of who's going to play against us in any way. So I'm not sure if that's benefiting them or not. But in terms of us, for us, if we have announced it to if our players know who's going to play on Saturday, we don't feel that keeping it under wrap it's better for us to announce it, get it out of the way. The players can settle. We can start training, and it is what it is.
Lloyd?
Yeah, and if I can just ask one more, there's been, you know, criticism perhaps labelled that the Springboks didn't, you know, name Malcolm Marx to start again this test. But do you think that the benefit of building depth and depth within the squad actually helps the Springboks ultimately on their quest to win another World Cup?
You know, we've got a specific, which we probably wouldn't like to have to go into too much detail, but there's how can I say, there's technical reasons why we select the team like we select. I've said it numerous times in the media that, listen, we don't see, and that's probably where we're a little bit different. We don't see, we see our front rows, the starting front row and the front row on the bench. We see them as a pair, as a unit, you know, not necessarily as, listen, this guy is number 1 and this guy is number 2. There's a tactical or technical reason why we select them like we do. And we wouldn't like to go into too much detail and give too much of our game plan away. But there's a reason for that. The players know it. And as long as they know it, they buy into it, and it's an open and honest discussion with them why we do things the way we do, and the players are happy with it. We are happy and comfortable with it, and that's like I say, it's normally there's a technical plan to that,
Guys, could I please ask that you just ask one question? There's a whole lot of hands that are raised. So we just to get through everybody, if that's fine. Lloyd, we can go to you.
Thanks, Zina. How's it, Jacques? Just a word on Dwayne, if you can, please. How he's come through the week. What you're expecting from him this weekend. How's he been looking? Are you expecting more minutes out of Dwayne this weekend? And just what kind of shape do you think he's in at the moment?
Yeah, no, listen, Dwayne, we expect definitely more minutes of Dwayne this weekend. And he's been training well. Looking forward to seeing him again. We all know what quality is, and we all know the experience that he brings to the team. We had a good week with him.
Tony?
Hi, Jacques. Just if I could ask whether you were surprised with the margin of victory from Argentina against the Wallabies, what you thought of the Wallabies' performance in that game, and whether it was kind of shocking to you as to some of us. But also about when you were here this time last year, Quade Cooper came back and played extremely well against you guys. What tying into that? What do you think of the Wallabies without Quade? How that changes things and makes them a different proposition?
Tony, no, listen. I think in 2018 we probably had one of our biggest losses against Argentina in Argentina. So for us, we know how tough it is to go and play there and to get a victory there. And like I said, listen, we can pretty much relate to what happened with Australia. I mean, we got a proper hiding in 2018 against Argentina there. So it's a tough place to go and win. They're a passionate group. Listen, they can make it tough for you. So in terms of we how can I say, we know exactly how Australia feel, because we've been there before. And then in terms of, yes, Quade is an excellent rugby player. He's a special rugby player, but I think I don't know who they're gonna, and maybe that's the thing. I'm not 100% sure who they're gonna start at 10 this weekend, but I think Bernard is back. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's back into the mix. Obviously, a lot of experience there. Yes, he's been out of the mix for quite some time. I think like last year, Quade wasn't in the Australian mix for quite some time. So, but I'm sure he'll slot straight back into the things. And like I said, he's experienced and he can mix it up. So we probably expect him to start. And but yeah, we'll wait and see.
Georgina?
Hi guys, I'm Georgina Robinson, Sydney Morning Herald here. I'm interested in a response from both of you to this question. I think you have something like a 13% win rate against Australia in Australia since 1996. When Australians marvel at that, we wonder if it's something about, the rivalry against New Zealand is so important to you that, you grow an extra leg, and then maybe suffer against Australia because it doesn't mean as much. But I'm just interested in your take on what might explain a poorer record than anyone would expect in Australia.
No, I would say, listen, we definitely, there's no difference. If you represent your country, and I'm sure Australia will say the same, when you represent your country, if it's against New Zealand, if against Fiji, if it's against Australia, if it's against Namibia. I mean, you want to produce a performance that your country would be proud of. So it's not that we have an eye on New Zealand and then we take a lesser stance against Australia. I just think Australia is tough. You know, it's and I can't talk about 96 and before that. All I know that we as a group, since we've been together since 2018, we've played them 3 times in Australia and we lost all 3. You know, so it is a tough game. We actually 0% our group. So and it's a big challenge for us, you know, and it probably for us shows the passion that Australia have when they play in front of their home crowd, you know, and yeah, for us it's a massive challenge, and yeah, we will prepare as best we can to try and get a result, but it is a tough place to come and win for us.
Yeah, I can't say much more. I agree with Coach Jacques.
Morgan?
Hi, Jacques. Jacques, was France always tipped, or was he in the plans to get a crack against the Wallabies? And are you happy with his match fitness, taking into consideration he hasn't been on the park since 28 May against the Griquas?
Yeah, no, yeah, we like France. Obviously, France had an injury, and like I mentioned, I think when he got injured against Griquas in the Currie Cup, we said, listen, in the Wales series, he needs to get through his rehab, and he's a guy that we will bring into the squad the moment he's done his rehab and he's back to full fitness. So he's actually, before we got him into our squad, he was busy with the preseason with the Cheetahs. So pretty happy with where he's currently at. Obviously, not playing game or having game time, I mean, that's unfortunately where we are in terms of playing rugby championship now, and how can I say, we compete internationally in the Southern Hemisphere, but we compete from a club or franchise level in the Northern Hemisphere. So our seasons are a little bit malaligned in terms of that. So, and that's the same thing for France. It's the same thing for Dwayne. You know, there's no club rugby currently where we can let our players play and see where they are currently at. We can only see it in training sessions, and that's why we want to push the training sessions intensity to as high as we can, and as close to match intensity as we can, to make an assessment on the players. And obviously we wouldn't have select France if we don't think that he's up to standard. So yeah, pretty much looking forward to see what France can bring. Obviously Willie, we know what we have in Willie. Willie can, if we're behind like we were at Wales, 18 points down, he can come and change the game for us. We know he can close a game out for us if he has to. But it is a nice opportunity for us to see what France can bring to the party. And we know last year when we played New Zealand in the Rugby Championship, France came on in the last 40 minutes when we beat New Zealand here in Australia, and you know he had an unbelievable game. So we know what he can bring, and he's very experienced. So yeah, just looking forward to see to get France back into the mix and to get him on the park.
Guys, we are running out of time for the English section. If there are fewer Afrikaans questions, then we can take more English ones in a little while. But for now, let's just take 2 more English questions and then see what the update is for Afrikaans. So our international media, just stay on and let's see if there's time. Craig Lewis.
Thanks, Zina. Sorry, Jacques. Just over a year away to the World Cup now. Just how challenging do you find the selection juggling act in terms of obviously having an immediate challenge at hand in terms of the test matches you've got in the Rugby Championship and obviously the end of year tour, but fairly limited time to also balance the game time and building depth. Just in terms of your selection decision making, how challenging is it at this moment?
No, I think, yeah, we've got a couple of challenges. And obviously the first challenge for us is to, like the lady rightly said, listen, we've got a very poor record against Australia in Australia. So our first aim is to try and see if we can't get a win here. Like I said, we haven't won a game here in 3 years that we've been in the 3 games that we've been involved in coaching a team, and as a team being here in South Africa, we haven't won a game yet. So that's the immediate goal for us. And then the next goal is we're playing for the Rugby Championship, you know, and I think it's a very tight affair currently between the 4 countries, and we would like to win the Rugby Championship. But I would lie and be dishonest if I say, listen, there isn't, let's call it half an eye on the World Cup. You know, we know last year our big challenge was the British and Irish Lions, and we wanted to perform there because it's such a rare competition. This year we do have a little bit, we can be a little bit creative in terms of team selection and building squad depth and giving guys opportunity. But I don't want to say that and people think we devalue the Springboks. We don't. Our first aim is to get a proper performance going against Australia on Saturday, which is a tough gig here in Australia, and to try and almost change the boards, if there's a saying like that, and then obviously to win the Rugby Championship. But yes, we do also have half an eye on the World Cup and building squad depth. Yeah, so it is I won't say it's a juggling act, because winning is still the most important thing. But if we can, and if we do have momentum, we would like to be a little bit creative and serve another strategic objective, which is building squad depth.
Ross?
How's it, guys? Jacques, Elton coming in there on the bench. Obviously, we haven't seen him since the first test against Wales. A difficult one for him, you know, with those his first minutes of the year. How's he been looking in training? And do you think he'll be a lot sharper and, you know, more composed now against Australia after getting a few more, another month or bit in training with you guys?
Yeah, no, yeah, like I said in the beginning, us going with a 5-3 split is obviously a tactical thing that we've got a specific plan, and is it the right plan? We obviously believe so, but we'll see on Saturday if that tactical plan is the correct one or not. But yes, no, in terms of Elton's form, like I said, with all the other players, Elton, with Dwayne, with France, you know, even Warwick hasn't played since he played against Wales in the second Test match. So a lot of the only place where we can see them is in training sessions, and we really push the training sessions to be as hard as a game or at match intensity. And yes, he's been performing well, so I expect him to be a lot sharper. Yes.
Guys, I don't see any Afrikaans media hands up at the moment. Percy, you can go.
Zina, thank you so much for this opportunity. Zina, can I ask Afrikaans question to Jacques and to even if possible?
Regs vir Percy.
Baie dankie, Zina. Jacques, ek kan jou vra oor die spankeuses, maar ek wil net spesifiek vra oor die speler langs jou vandag. Eben 102 toetse sover. Is daar enige, of liewer as ek so vra, wat is jou gesprek met die mense wat julle spelers bestuur oor Eben Etzebeth se werkslading? Ek aanvaar hy's 'n belangrike deel, hy's 'n core deel van julle groep aan die aanloop tot 2023 Frankryk. Hoe bestuur julle vir hom? Is daar enige vrees dat hy homself oorwerk? Even, kan ek vir jou vra, vir 'n man wat 102 toetse nou sover gespeel het al, wat maak hierdie Australiese span so moeilik in Australië? Want as gemeet aan al die toetse wat jy gespeel het, behoort jy 'n idee te hê wat die Istanbul-blok gewoonlik in Australië is?
Ja, Percy, ek dink ek gaan sommer vir al twee vrae beantwoord. Ek wil hier sê, ek wil elke keer vir die Bokke speel, so hopelik coach Jacques my aan kies. My liggaam voel goed en ek voel nog jonk. En ja, dit is net vir my lekker om deel te wees, en ek dink ons het planne hierdie week as 'n ou dalk bietjie meer gespeel het om bietjie meer in te raak by oefening en so. Ek meen ek is regtig happy om te speel, en dan ja, op Australië, ek dink as Jacques het ook geantwoord in Engels, is 'n moeilike span, dat is een van die top rugby nasies om teen te speel, en ek meen by die huis gaan hulle altyd 'n goeie rekord hê. Ek glo ons rekord teen hulle in Suid-Afrika is net so goed. So dit gaan 'n ongelooflike challenge wees vir ons. Ek ry toets, ons het nou 2 weke wat ons teen hulle speel, so ja, ek dink die manne is reg, en ek dink gaan 'n lekker uitdaging wees vir ons almal uitsien.
Zo kan je toch antwoord asseblief vir my net van die afrotter se punte af die ervare spelers se werkslading en hoe julle hom bestuur
Ja.
moet.
Ja, nee, Percy, dis iets wat ons dophou, jy weet, maar nie net op toetsvlak nie, jy weet, ook deur die jaar by die clubs en hoeveel minute hulle speel, hoeveel hulle gestart het. So ja, werkslading. Ons probeer altyd die spelers as ons kan, probeer ons hulle werkslading balanseer. Dis miskien nie die regte woord, jy weet, ons probeer dit balanseer, maar dis nie net ons nie, dis ook met die klub. Jy weet, so ons neem die hoeveelheid minute wat hulle vir die klub speel ook in aanmerking. En ek dink nie net ons minute nie, maar ons kyk na albei kante.
Kobus?
Dankie Zina. Hallo Jacques, Ewen. Jacques, ek wil vir jou vra, julle speel Saterdag vir die eerste keer op die Adelaide oval en is ook 'n middagwedstryd. Is dit iets om aan gewoon te raak? En dan wil ek in dieselfde asem vir Ewen vra, is dit dalk makliker vir julle om op 'n meer neutrale veld, as ek dit so kan noem, te speel as byvoorbeeld in die Sandkop stadion?
Ja, weet jy, ja, ons het nog nie, ek persoonlik was nog nooit in Adelaide nie, maar hier is van ons spelers bestuur wat al hier was van tevore, die sewes is gewoonlik hier so, was al hier, so daar is 'n paar van ons wat al hier gespeel het, en ja, dit wat hulle ondervind het toe hulle hier gespeel het, deel hulle met ons, en nee, wel, in terme van die middagwedstryd, ek nog nie 100% na die weer gekyk nie, maar vandag het dit katte en honde hier gereën, so of dit 'n middagwedstryd is, ek weet nie wat die temperatuur hier gaan wees nie, maar dis redelik koud hierso nou. So ja, nee, ek dink nie dis iets wat ons al lank gedink het nie.
Ja, net ja, van my kant af, ek dink kan nie regtig sê is 'n neutrale veld. Ek meen ons is nog steeds in Australië en moes al die pad getravel het. Wat ek wel kan sê is toe ons by die lughawe geland het, wat was dit, Saterdag, toe was so ongelooflik baie Suid-Afrikaanse ondersteuners en hopelik kan ons almal hulle daar hê, maar ek meen ons weet 90-95% van die skare gaan vir die Aussies skree, so is vir ons 'n wegtoets en so ek vroeg gesê, dis 'n lekker uitdaging vir ons. Ons het nie 'n goeie rekord in Australië nie, maar ons kry nou 2 kansse in 2 weke, so ek dink die manne sien uit.
Guys, is there any further Afrikaans questions? Because then we could take 1 or 2 in English. No? Kanyiso?
Thank you very much, Zina. Yeah, a quick one on how you guys are planning to disrupt Australia's mode, because it's one part of the Bok game that did come under not under pressure per se, but was well met by New Zealand in the 2 matches.
What was that?
I'm saying that how do you guys intend on actually improving the mode, especially when you look at how the All Blacks counted the mode very well in the past 2 test matches?
Yeah, I think like I say, every test match is a new challenge. We know we have things to work on. Obviously, mauling is one. I think we did get reward on a few mauls in the game, penalties and penalty advantage. But probably we're looking to get a bit more. But yeah, it's something we'll work on. Obviously, Australia will look at us and they know we do like mauling, so they'll get plans to stop that. So yeah, I mean, we're going to have to see on Saturday whose plan is better.
And then last question, Nathan.
Thank you, Zina. Jock, in your coaching philosophy regarding player selection or policy, do you pick the best players to start a game? I mean, nevertheless, most occasions it seems to work for the box system. I just wonder your opinion on the question, because in the previous presser regarding their selection, your answer was very vague. I quote, a privilege. Can you just expand on it for the general public in layman's terms?
Yeah, sometimes, what I meant is sometimes when we do make a team selection, like I mentioned numerous times before, we sit down the whole group, and when I say the whole group, the physios, the doctors, the administrative people, and we discuss in front of everybody why we go with a specific selection, and it's a tactical plan, and when I say privileged information, sometimes there's something that a coach discuss with a player, and if you ask him, and that's what we do, we ask him, listen, do you like this to come out in the media? And they say no. They want this is between me and him. Then that's what I mean privilege. We always said to the media, and I think to you guys, that we want to be as open and transparent as possible. But sometimes there's something that a player, that a coach, that's some of our tactics that we don't want out there. Some of our IP that we don't want out there, and maybe I was wrong in saying that it's privilege, but it was a discussion between myself, the other coaches, in terms of tactics, in terms sometimes, like I say, it's something personal with a player that you don't want to discuss and don't want out in the media, and then we have to respect that, and that is that's as truthful as I can be. And it's honest. It's Eben will know, everybody would know. And I think if you ask a player, they will say, listen, that's how it works with the box. We are open and honest about everything. But sometimes we, from a tactical point of view, we don't want to share some stuff in the media. And in terms of select your question, and do we select the best players? Or I think that was your words. We select the team, and like I mentioned before, we don't necessarily see if you take the front row, and you were talking about the front row, we don't necessarily see we see the front row as a unit, and they operate as a unit. There's certain boxes that the guys who start have to tick in a specific test match, and there's a tactical reason why we select it like that. The players know what is those the goals that they will have to, the guys who start the game. They know what goals they need to achieve, and sometimes they achieve that in 35 minutes, sometimes they achieve it in 50 minutes, sometimes they achieve it in 20 minutes, but there's certain things that they will have to achieve. And the moment they achieve it, and we feel it's the right time tactically, then we will make a substitution. But I think where it's different with maybe other teams, we don't necessarily see it as two groups, the starting pack and the bench. We don't see it as two groups. We see it as a unit. And that's, I hope it answers your question and it gives a little bit more clarity to the public. But that's how we see it. We see it as a unit, not as a division. There's 15 guys starting and then 8 guys on the bench. That's a substitute. No, we see it as a unit. It gives us a tactical advantage.
Guys, thank you so much. That concludes our press conference for this evening. Have a lovely day, and we'll be sending out the recording shortly. Keep well. Bye-bye.
Dankie. Bye-bye.
Dankie, guys.
Bye, dankie.